Welcome to vpod.ai. I'm your host, Mike, and today I'm joined by our expert, Susan.
Hi, everyone. I am so excited to be here for this.
You can sponsor this podcast for just $25. Your message will be featured across major platforms like Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, Spotify, and more. If you're interested, visit vpod.ai to get started today. So to kick off our exploration today, I want you to picture this.
Okay, I'm picturing it.
It is 7 in the morning. You are rushing to get ready for work, and you grab a handful of your daily vitamins, you toss them back, and you wash them down with a giant steaming mug of black coffee on an entirely empty stomach.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that is a morning routine that millions of you rely on every single day.
Right, and it feels incredibly productive, doesn't it? Like you are checking the health box before the day even really begins.
It definitely feels like a win. You're setting an intention for the day. But unfortunately, if we look at the actual biology of human digestion, that specific routine is pretty much a masterclass in how to sabotage your own health goals.
Okay, let's unpack this, because in today's session, we are going to explore exactly why that rushed morning routine might be rendering those really expensive supplements totally useless.
Yeah, or even worse, why it might be the secret culprit behind that unexplained mid-morning stomach pain you keep getting.
Exactly. We are completely tearing down the traditional supplement schedule and rebuilding it based on how your body's chemistry actually operates.
Because, we often view vitamins as these magic little health pellets. The assumption is simply, well, if I swallow it, my body will use it.
Right, like a video game health potion.
Exactly. But human digestion is an incredibly complex, highly reactive chemical environment. I mean, you are dropping concentrated compounds into a vat of acid, enzymes, and water.
It's intense in there.
It really is.
Yeah.
So the timing, the combinations, and the presence or absence of food dictate absolutely everything about what happens next.
So to figure out when you should be taking what, we first have to understand how these different compounds dissolve and actually travel through the body.
Yes, which brings us to, the great biological divide.
The water-soluble versus fat-soluble divide. Let's start with the water-soluble group.
Okay, so this group includes vitamin C and the entire B-complex family. So, everything from B1 for energy metabolism up to B12 for nerve health.
And as the name implies, these compounds dissolve perfectly in water.
Right. Your bloodstream is predominantly water, so your body doesn't really need to do much heavy lifting or require food to break them down and absorb them.
And because they dissolve in water, your body doesn't really store them for long-term use, right?
Exactly. You can't build a 6-month reserve of vitamin C or B vitamins in your fat tissues. If you ingest more than your body can use at that specific moment, your kidneys simply filter out the excess.
You literally just pee it away.
You do,
Yeah.
which is why you get that bright neon color sometimes.
Oh yeah, we've all seen that. Which means taking this specific group in the morning with a tall glass of water is, well, it's perfectly fine.
Actually, it is the ideal time. The B vitamins play a massive role in converting the food you eat into cellular energy. You really want those metabolic pathways supported early in your day.
That makes total sense. And what about B12? I hear that one is a bit tricky.
It is. If we look at B12 specifically, the mechanism is quite unique. B12 is a very large, complex molecule. So to absorb it, your stomach produces something called intrinsic factor.
Wait, so it needs its own special transport protein?
It does, yeah. And if you actually have a clinical efficiency in B12, taking it first thing in the morning on a completely empty stomach with just water is actually best.
Because there's nothing else in the way.
Exactly. It ensures there is no other food competing for that intrinsic factor, which maximizes your absorption rate.
Okay, so the water-soluble crew gets a green light for the morning, but let's look at the other side of the aisle. The fat-soluble vitamins.
Right. There are 4 of these. Vitamins A, D, E, and K.
And if you are washing these down with black coffee on an empty stomach, you are essentially just throwing your money in the garbage, aren't you?
You really are. Fat-soluble vitamins fundamentally require dietary fat to cross the intestinal wall.
Because your digestive tract is a watery environment, and oil and water do not mix.
Exactly. So when you consume dietary fat, your body secretes bile, and that bile acts as an emulsifier. It creates these tiny fat-based transport packages called micelles or chylomicrons.
So I've always pictured it like trying to wash a really greasy frying pan without dish soap.
Oh, that is a great way to think about it.
Yeah, because you can run all the hot water you want over that pan, but the grease and the water just slide right past each other. They never mix. The ingredients just don't combine.
Right. You absolutely need the dietary fat to act as the soap that binds to those vitamins, packages them up, and actually transports them across the barrier of the intestinal wall.
So without that binding action, without the formation of those micelles, the vitamins just pass right through your system, completely unabsorbed.
Yes, taking a fat-soluble vitamin completely fasted, or even with a zero-fat breakfast like plain toast, it drastically reduces how much your body can actually utilize.
Wow. So if a lack of dietary fat leaves those vitamins stranded, what happens when we introduce a highly reactive liquid into the mix?
Oh boy.
Yeah, let's talk about the coffee, the most popular morning beverage on Earth, which actively sabotages certain essential minerals.
It really does. Coffee, and tea for that matter, contain specific plant compounds called polyphenols and tannins.
And those are the problem.
Yeah, these compounds are highly reactive, and they are notorious for binding to minerals in your gut, forming complex structures that are simply too large for your body to absorb.
And the biggest victim here is iron.
By far. If you take an iron supplement within 1 to 2 hours of drinking coffee or tea, you can decrease the amount of iron your body absorbs by as much as 45%.
Wait, 45%. You are wiping out nearly half your dose just by combining it with your morning brew.
Exactly, it's a massive reduction.
Now, I want to clarify something here, because I've read that most over-the-counter supplements use something called non-heme iron.
Yes, that's correct.
So what is the difference between that and, like, the iron I get from eating a steak? And why does coffee target it so aggressively?
Well, it comes down to the structure. Heme iron comes from animal sources, like meat. And it is naturally protected by a protein ring, so it survives the digestive process fairly well.
Okay, and the non-heme.
Non-heme iron is the form found in plants and in almost all supplements, and it lacks that protective protein ring. So it is essentially naked iron, which makes it highly reactive.
Ah, so it really wants to bind to things.
Exactly. So when the tannins in your coffee float by, that non-heme iron instantly latches onto them, and your body just flushes the whole complex away.
Man, it's just too fragile to survive the coffee.
Yeah, it really is.
But the tannins aren't the only threat to non-heme iron, are they? Because it also has a major rivalry with calcium.
Oh, they fight each other fiercely. Calcium and iron are both divalent minerals, meaning they share a similar chemical structure and electrical charge.
So they bump heads.
Literally. Because of this similarity, they literally compete for the exact same biological doorways or receptor sites into your bloodstream.
And who wins?
Calcium is a bully. It will saturate those receptors and completely block the iron from entering.
Let me pose a scenario here, because I've actually tried to work around this in the past.
Okay, let's hear it.
So let's say I know I shouldn't take my iron with my morning coffee,
Okay.
but I really need the iron. So instead, I wash it down with a glass of orange juice, because vitamin C is supposed to be amazing for iron absorption.
It is, yeah.
But wait, the orange juice I buy is fortified with calcium. So what wins in that scenario? The helpful vitamin C or the blocking calcium?
Oh, the calcium wins, unfortunately.
Really?
Yeah, you've hit on a classic double-edged sword in nutrition. You are entirely correct that vitamin C creates a more acidic environment that helps stabilize that fragile non-heme iron. But the massive dose of fortified calcium in that juice completely monopolizes the absorption pathways. The negative blocking effect of the calcium just entirely overpowers the positive assist from the vitamin C.
Wow.
Yeah, you should really never take iron and calcium together.
So fortified orange juice is basically a trap for iron supplements.
It is a total trap. And, the calcium story has another layer, too.
Oh, what was that?
Calcium supplements, especially the very common and inexpensive calcium carbonate, they require a highly acidic environment to break down properly.
Yeah.
And your body doesn't produce a significant rush of stomach acid until you actually eat solid food.
So if you take calcium carbonate on an empty stomach, it just sits there.
Pretty much. It acts like a piece of chalk sitting in a pool of water. It won't dissolve effectively.
That sounds terrible.
It's not great. Furthermore, your body's receptor sites for calcium get saturated very quickly. Your body absorbs it most efficiently in doses of 500 milligrams or less.
So taking a huge pill is a waste.
Exactly. If you swallow a massive 1,000 milligram calcium pill all at once on an empty stomach, you aren't absorbing the vast majority of it.
So you really have to divide the dose and take it with food.
You do.
Okay, so far, mornings are proving to be an absolute minefield for iron, calcium, and our fat-soluble vitamins A, D, E, and K.
They really are.
But Failing to absorb a vitamin is one thing. Some supplements will physically make you feel terrible if you take them on that empty caffeinated stomach.
Oh, absolutely. This is where the chemistry of the supplements meets the very sensitive biology of your stomach lining. We actually often refer to this specific group as the tummy ache trio.
The tummy ache trio, I love that. Let's start with vitamin C. The chemical name for vitamin C is ascorbic acid, right?
And it's inherently acidic.
And during cold season, people are swallowing massive doses of it, sometimes like 1,000 milligrams at a time.
Yes, and taking 1,000 milligrams of highly concentrated acid on an empty stomach drastically lowers the pH of your gastric environment. Yeah, it can cause the esophageal sphincter to relax, which leads to acid reflux, nausea, and even severe abdominal cramping.
I always visualize it like taking pure concentrated lemon juice and dropping it directly onto an empty, sensitive stomach wall.
Oh, that sounds painful, but it's accurate.
Yeah, it's going to burn and irritate the tissue.
Mm-hmm.
But if you take that same concentrated lemon juice and drop it into a stomach that is already full of a heavy lunch, the food acts as a physical and chemical buffer.
Exactly. It dilutes the impact.
It dilutes it.
Right, and that buffering concept is the absolute key to comfortable digestion.
Yeah.
And it applies directly to zinc as well.
Oh, zinc. Zinc supplements are notorious for causing nausea.
They really are. And the pill breaks down, it releases free zinc ions. And these free ions are incredibly abrasive to the gastric mucosa, which is the protective layer of your stomach.
So they just attack the lining.
Basically, they directly trigger the nausea center in your brain.
I've actually noticed that personally. Like, I've taken zinc on an empty stomach and felt completely wrecked for an hour. But other times I take a different brand and I'm totally fine. What is the difference there? Why does one zinc cause nausea and another doesn't?
Well, it really depends on the chemical form of the zinc.
Okay.
If you look at the back of the bottle and see zinc acetate dihydrate, you need to be very careful.
Zinc acetate dihydrate.
Yes, that specific formulation dissolves rapidly and dumps all those irritating free ions into your stomach at once.
Yikes. So what are the gentler forms?
Gentler forms, like zinc gluconate or zinc citrate, release their ions much more slowly. But I will say, regardless of the form, taking zinc without the physical buffer of food is highly risky.
So we have vitamin C causing an acid storm and zinc releasing free ions that literally make you want to throw up.
Pretty much.
And here's the real kicker. What is the single most common daily supplement people take?
A multivitamin.
A multivitamin. And what do almost all multivitamins contain? Both
Yeah.
vitamin C and zinc.
Exactly. This is exactly why so many people feel inexplicably nauseous around 10 a.m.
It makes perfect sense now.
Yeah, they swallowed a massive multivitamin packed with ascorbic acid and free zinc ions, likely combined with fat-soluble vitamins that aren't even forming transport micelles, all washed down with an acidic cup of coffee that's actively blocking their mineral absorption.
It is literally a perfect storm for gastric distress.
It really is a disaster.
So let's say you have a really potent multivitamin, or you're taking individual high-dose vitamins, and you want to keep taking them without the stomach disaster. What is the practical fix?
The safest approach is simply splitting the payload.
Splitting it.
Right. Take half with your breakfast, assuming your breakfast actually contains some solid food and fat, of course, and then take the other half with lunch.
Okay. What if it is a single capsule that you literally can't split?
And just move it entirely to your most robust meal of the day, which is usually lunch or dinner. You absolutely need that food buffer.
Okay, so since mornings are clearly a chaotic environment for digestion, how do we strategically schedule the rest of our day to optimize all this biology?
Well, let's focus on the lunch and dinner window. This is when you are typically eating your largest, most complex meals.
Right.
You have dietary fat for the micelles, you have a rush of stomach acid to break down the minerals, and you have a dense food buffer to protect your stomach lining.
So this is prime time for vitamin D.
Right, exactly. Prime time.
Because it's fat soluble, so we finally have the dish soap available to absorb it.
Correct. When you take vitamin D with a meal containing significant fat, like avocado, olive oil, salmon, or eggs, your absorption rate is actually 32% greater than taking it with a fat-free meal.
32% is a huge difference.
It is. But absorption is only step one. Here's where the synergy comes in. Vitamin D requires adequate levels of magnesium in your body just to activate.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
So you can absorb all the vitamin D in the world, get it into your bloodstream, but without magnesium, it doesn't do anything.
it remains completely biologically inactive.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, magnesium is a vital cofactor. The specific enzymes in your liver and kidneys that convert vitamin D into its active, usable form depend entirely on magnesium.
That is wild.
Right, without it, the vitamin D just circulates and eventually gets stored in your fat tissues, totally unused.
That is incredible. And while we were talking about biological partnerships, vitamin D has another major partner, right? Vitamin K.
Oh, yes. They are an incredible power couple for your bone health.
How so?
Well, vitamin D's job is to pull calcium from your diet into your bloodstream. But, you don't want calcium just floating around in your blood. It can actually calcify your arteries.
Which is very bad.
Very bad. So vitamin K's job is to activate a protein that takes that calcium out of the blood and binds it safely into the bone matrix.
Huh.
So taking D and K together with your fatty meal is just fantastic synergy.
I feel like there's a catch, though. Didn't you mention earlier that vitamin K has some absorption rivals?
I did, yes. While D and K work beautifully together, vitamin K competes heavily with vitamins A and E.
Because they're all fat-soluble.
Exactly. They all rely on those exact same fat-based micelles to cross the intestinal wall. If you flood the system with all of them at once, they fight for space in the transport vehicles.
So, if possible, separate your K from A and E.
Yes, exactly.
There is also a major medical consideration with vitamin K, isn't there?
A vital one. Vitamin K directly influences how your blood clots. So if you are on blood thinner medications, taking vitamin K can completely counteract your prescription.
That is a crucial flag for anyone listening.
Definitely.
But let me circle back to vitamin E for a second, because we know it's fat-soluble and needs to be separated from K.
Right.
Does it have to be taken at the exact same moment I eat a handful of almonds or a piece of salmon?
Oh, this brings up a really fascinating point about gastric emptying and the intelligence of your digestive tract.
Wait.
The answer is no. It doesn't have to be ingested at the exact same moment. As long as you consume adequate fat throughout the day, vitamin E absorbs perfectly fine.
Wait, how does that work? Does the digestive system just hold onto the vitamin E, like parking it in the gut, until the fat finally arrives later in the afternoon to transport it?
In a way, yes. The transit time through your intestines is slow. Your gut is incredibly efficient at regulating these fat-soluble compounds.
Really?
Yeah, it can hold them in the intestinal lumen as long as the necessary dietary components, the fats that trigger the bile, show up eventually within that broader digestive window.
The body is so smart. Okay, so we've packed a lot of our heavy lifters into the lunch and dinner hours. What about the evening shift? What should we be taking as we wind down?
The undisputed king of the evening shift is magnesium.
Magnesium, right?
But you have to be highly specific about which chemical form you choose. Because if you take magnesium citrate or magnesium hydroxide, you might be setting yourself up for a very rough night.
Why? I feel like I see magnesium citrate literally everywhere.
You do, but it's all because of how it behaves in the gut. Those forms have an osmotic effect. They actively pull water from your body into your intestines.
Oh, no.
Yeah, the intestines fill with water, which stimulates peristalsis. That's the contractions of the bowel.
So they act as laxatives.
Exactly. They're laxatives. And that is not what you want when you are trying to achieve a peaceful night's sleep.
Oh, definitely not.
Yeah.
So what is the alternative that actually helps you sleep?
Magnesium glycinate.
Glycinate, okay.
Right. In this form, the magnesium is chemically bound to glycine, which is an amino acid. Glycine acts as an inhibitory neurotransmitter in the brain.
So it calms things down.
Yes, it actively calms the central nervous system. Moving this specific type of magnesium to 30 to 60 minutes before bed is a massive strategic win for your sleep architecture and your overall health routine.
Awesome. So let's bring all this biology together.
Yep.
Let's give you a practical, revamped daily schedule based on how your digestion actually functions.
Sounds good. We can start with the morning. Morning time is strictly for your water-soluble B vitamins. Take them with a glass of water. Get that energy metabolism pathway supported early.
And enjoy your morning coffee, but keep your iron supplement far, far away from it.
Completely separated, mid-afternoon, well away from the tannins in your coffee and completely separated from any calcium you might consume, is the safest window for your highly reactive iron supplement.
And if taking it on an empty stomach causes irritation.
Just have a tiny low-calcium snack with it.
Perfect. Then we move to lunch or dinner, your heaviest, most complex meals of the day.
Rice.
This is where you deploy the heavy hitters. Your multivitamins, your fat-soluble vitamins, A, D, E, and K, along with your highly acidic vitamin C and your stomach-irritating zinc.
Yes, they need the fat to form the transport micelles, and they need the physical mass of the food to buffer the acid and protect your stomach lining.
And finally, 30 to 60 minutes before you go to sleep, you take your magnesium glycinate. This calms your nervous system for rest, and crucially, it activates the vitamin D you took earlier at lunch.
It is a completely different way of looking at your supplement routine.
It really is. But before we wrap up today, we do need to issue a very important disclaimer.
Yes, please. Everything we have discussed today involves the natural chemistry and interactions of over-the-counter supplements.
Right.
But if you are pregnant, dealing with kidney or gastrointestinal disease, or taking prescription medications, especially thyroid medicine, antibiotics, osteoporosis drugs, or blood thinners, you absolutely must talk to your doctor or pharmacist.
Because the minerals can actually bind to the medications.
Exactly. Calcium, for instance, can bind to thyroid medication in the gut and render the prescription completely useless.
Wow.
Yeah, the timing interactions between supplements and those specific medications are absolutely critical and highly individualized.
So definitely have that conversation with your doctor. Now, to close out our exploration today, I want to leave you with a fascinating thought to ponder.
Okay.
We started by picturing that rushed morning routine, swallowing a massive handful of concentrated pills with coffee. We treat human nutrition like an engineering problem. Input the isolated chemical, extract the expected result.
It is the ultimate modern convenience.
It is. But consider how that modern convenience of swallowing an all-in-one megadose pill is actually fighting against millions of years of human evolution.
Oh, absolutely. Our digestive systems did not evolve to process isolated, highly concentrated bursts of pure ascorbic acid or free zinc ions hitting an empty stomach all at once.
Right.
We look back at our evolutionary history. Our biology expects nutrients to arrive packaged safely inside complex whole foods.
It expects those vitamins to be naturally bound to fats, surrounded by fibers, slowly broken down, and spaced out gradually over the course of an entire day of foraging and eating.
Exactly. That's what the system is built for.
So the next time you look at that handful of pills in the morning, ask yourself, are you working in harmony with your body's evolutionary design? Or are you just trying to wash a greasy pan without the dish soap?